Hey, welcome back. So we've done some great things here with our prefabs and our ability to rapidly knock out new levels. We have some things to sort out with regards to scene loading. For a start, when we lose the game, it's currently going to a win screen. It says you've beat Block Breaker, you see. And we haven't, we just lost. So what are we going to do this level? Video, even. We are going to create a lose scene and modify our lose collider to point to it. We're going to make a new method in the level manager called load next level, so that we don't have to have the very boring job of telling every level what the next level is. We will add all our levels to the project build settings, modify our block.cs to simulate winning, because at the moment we can't win, because we can't destroy all the bricks yet, and then test that it all works. Cool, so how are we going to do this? That cool was very high pitched, wasn't it? Never mind. Cool, so let's do it. Firstly, we have a win screen. As I say, it's not really a win screen, so let's duplicate it. Let's make ourselves something called a lose screen. Screen, scene, level. Okay, and where it says you beat Block Breaker, well, we don't want it to say you beat Block Breaker. We want it to say you lost. Simple as that. So that's the lose screen. Now, another simple script change. We need to think what is responsible for the lose condition. It's the lose collider. So instead of loading the win screen, it wants to load the lose screen. And that's going to do the same regardless of the level. So let's try that. If we were on level 1 and we lose, then what happens? Nothing, because we haven't added to our build settings. So that's going to be a very, very common error. The moment you add a new scene, if you want it to be in the game, you're going to need to add it to your build settings. So let's go into the build settings. I'm going to delete everything that's there and put all of the scenes in the build settings. And while we're here, let's bring the start menu to the top. You may need to bring level 1 below it. You may not be able to drag it to the top. And then what we want to be able to happen is as follows. We want to go from the start menu to level 1. If we win, onto level 2, if we win, onto level 3, and through all of the levels, however many we have, until eventually you go to the win screen that says you've conquered the game. If at any point you lose, we want to leapfrog straight down to lose screen. So that's the behavior we want. If you look on the right-hand side of the build settings, we've actually got a number starting at 0, which is a level index. We start with level index 0, then 1, then 2, then 3. Shortly, we're going to make very good use of that. We're going to just increment the level index every time we win. But for now, let's just look at the lose condition and make sure that's working. So level 1, run, lose, you lost. Great. Just test it from level 2. Should work exactly the same. Great. So let's recap why that's working. It's working because in the play space, we have a lose collider. On the lose collider, we have a script. It's the same script on all lose colliders, and they always load the lose scene. Fantastic. So what we need to do now is simulate winning because we haven't actually built in the win functionality yet. By the way, you may think the order in which we're teaching this section is strange. Why can't we destroy blocks? Why can't we win yet? Well, what I want to do is I want to prove that if we structure our game properly, in quotes, then adding functionality like the ability to destroy blocks will be possible even though we've created multiple levels. That's what's going to be really cool. We're going to actually create block destructibility after we've made a few levels. So you don't necessarily have to get all of your game mechanic completely nailed before you start building out levels. It's a intermingled process, right? The process of creating levels may give you an idea about a new mechanic, and the process of creating mechanics, game mechanics, may give you ideas about levels and scenes. So they work together. So what would a natural way of simulating a win be? Well, let's put it in the very script that we're going to end up with, which is on the brick. And what's going to happen is after sometime on the collision of a brick, we are going to detect a win, a destruction of the brick, and then we're going to detect that it's the final brick, and we're going to somehow win. So for now, I'm just going to create a new function called simulate win. Okay, I'm just going to call that. And then I'm going to describe what I'm doing with a comment. I'm going to put to do. To do is a special comment that comes up bold, and you could always do a search across your files for all your to-dos. To do, remove this method once we can actually win. Okay, now let's define void. Doesn't need anything to come back. simulate win, checking that the red goes away when we do this. There you go. So what are we going to do? Well, we're going to level manager dot load level when we win. But load which level? Well, and also we don't have a level manager. So there's two things we need to do here. Firstly, we need to create a level manager that is available to the brick. So I'm going to let you do that as a challenge. We've done it a couple of times now. I want you to make a private level manager at the top, and in the start, find it using find object of type. So go ahead and, as a micro challenge, do that now. Okay, so we have a private level manager, and then on the start, we find it in the scene. Level manager equals game object dot find object of type, left chevron, level manager, right chevron. It's a method, so it needs brackets and everything needs a semicolon on pain of death. Okay, so what we want to call is level manager dot, not with a capital L, but with a small l, it's the instance, dot. We've got this load level thing, but I don't want to be laboriously going through and telling every level what the next level is. So I want a new method called load next level. It doesn't exist yet, but that's okay. That's wishful thinking. It's red. Let's go ahead and make this level manager load next level method. Into your sprites, scripts even. Into the level manager, let's make a new method called public load next level. It doesn't need any information, so no parameters coming in. Now, what are we going to do? Well, here's a useful thing. Application dot load level, okay? And then what level are we going to load? Well, we could pass a level index in. Let's look at the docs for it for a second. A couple of ways it works. There are two signatures for this method. One is you pass an integer index in, which I showed you in the build settings, and the other is you pass in a string. We're going to use the index. And where are we going to get the index from? Well, this is the cool thing. We can just go application dot level loaded level. There you go, and it returns an integer +1. Now that's pretty cool, right? Now level manager dot load next level will automatically load the next level in the sequence. What's this error about here when I did the build? Class struct or interface method must have a return type. Of course, we're missing void. Okay, so public void load next level. What that's going to do is it's going to load whatever is the next level in our build settings here. Boom, 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 boom. So start menu is going to explicitly load level 1, and then the rest of these, when we win, are going to use the simulate win method to just load the next level until we get to the win screen. Let's see if it works. By the way, if you go back into your brick, this load next level is no longer red because it exists. All right, let's try it. So here we are on, actually we better know which scene we're on. Let's start at the start, right? Start menu, start button. As soon as we hit the brick, we win. Let's try losing on this second level. You lost. Great, play again. Hit a brick, you win. Hit a brick, you win. Can't win here because there are no bricks, we lose. Great, okay? Just to finish that off, on level 3, let's pop a single brick in. There it is, so that you can win. Just move it a little bit. So it's easy to hit. Holding down control, you always want everything on grid. Level 3, you beat block breaker. Fantastic. Let's just look at the whole flow again with the maximize on play, just so it looks right. Maximize on play will only take effect when you play a fresh game. And you want to be starting from your start menu, of course. Saving scenes as you go. Okay, let's start. Win, win, win. We beat block breaker. Win. Now let's lose here by not hitting a brick. Haha, you lost. Perfect. Awesome, awesome job. So, I hope that all made sense to you. Let's just look at the slide as a recap. we have created a lose scene and modified our lose collider so it goes there rather than win scene. We've added a very handy new method to our level manager called load next level, which increments up to the next level index, so that the sole place that we define our level order is in the build settings. We have to put things in build settings anyway in order for them to be loadable, so why not have that the place that we encode the logical order of the levels? Cool, hey? All in one place. I love it when you can have a single place for information and then everything in that single place. It's great. Add all of our levels to the project build settings. Well, we did that, of course. We added a simulate win method to the block. Later, the block will be responsible for detecting the win condition, i.e. all the destructible blocks are gone out the level, and we will replace that method later. But it's a great way of testing the process and better than sticking an ugly button in the level. And we tested it all and it worked just great. So congratulations, and I'll see you soon.